No, I don't need to burp. I'm fine.
Do you want me to do? What do you mean?
No,
do
you
to
don't. You don't need to.
toddlers
You don't
burp?
need to. You don't need to treat me like I'm a toddler. All right. So hey, welcome to your weekly corner, Späti. We don't know if this is yet the bonus or not. We will decide this after we are done recording.
Yes.
And
keeps us on our toes, you know.
I think that before we go into the main episode, or like the main topics at hand, a little bit of local flair I think is needed. Where I completely forgot that this happened yesterday. I saw the poster for it once. Then it left my memory after I just was like, before I get really involved with this, I'm just gonna block everyone who's involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna block Jungle World. I'm gonna block all the panelists.
Spalding, whatever.
Yeah, and boy howdy, dude, I really not regret doing that because
I know.
But yeah, the location is very funny that it is about blank. That when I saw it immediately, it was like, of course, if any place in the world were to do such a careless event that then it's just going to cause nothing but uproar, then yeah, who else than about blank?
They're such cowards though, because it was not on their socials that it was there. So
it wasn't?
No. So all the panelists obviously posted about it. Then what's it called?
Jungle World, yeah.
Yeah, they are the ones who posted it. And then you went into their Instagram account and the About Blank Instagram account, and it was nowhere to be seen because they knew that, you know, everyone hates it. And I actually saw that it looked like there were more people protesting it than people going inside to the event.
Yeah, it was quite something seeing the fact that, one, that there was a lot of people protesting outside of it, and then two, allegedly, according to I believe it was Nathaniel Flanken who reported this, that they didn't allow certain like Jewish attendees to come in.
Yeah,
because of fear of
they're the wrong kind of Jews, basically.
Because like fear of them causing a problem.
Yeah. So they have like no Jews, like Jewish panelists. Mm-mm. I think they had one. Sorry, because obviously
they added one at the last minute.
Yeah.
It was like a weird VC guy.
Yeah, exactly. So they added one at the last minute. So only one Jewish panelist in a panel about anti-Semitism.
Yeah, who was an afterthought?
Yeah, exactly.
After they got in trouble.
Exactly, and then they don't even let Jewish people into the event. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I felt that we just had to mention it because it was so just on the nose, perfectly just German and all this. Just the fact of that, then of course there's just going to be this like, you know, just completely tone deaf anti-Deutsch like thing of like, well, how do we make this about us? And how do I, I mean, just the fact that it was that comedian and the and the anti-Semitism expert from the from that one Stiftung.
What's his name? Nick Potter.
Yeah.
Imagine me called Potter. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's very fitting that it was just like the crew of people that it was, and of course Jungle World was sponsoring it. It was too many things coming together. It seemed like an op a bit, like,
just a grifter, like op, basically.
Like, I mean, what like. It just it was too on the nose for all these kind of groups.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. It happened, I guess. They had problems with protesters and whatnot. I saw that the police were called and whatnot. So
yeah, I mean, the thing is, they were protesting on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
And if you know that street, it's a wide street as well. So there was no...
It's like an industrial area.
Yeah. There's absolutely nothing. And it's a two-way street. So it's pretty wide. Cars are going through all the time. So there was no way that it was gonna get violent or anything. And then you see the police and you could see also the organizers of the protest, just keeping the people in a space. And then the police was called.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It was very, I don't know. I think it was all very expected. Just kind of this reaction to happen. I mean, I saw there was a very stupid take that I saw from what is it? Berlin is over or whatever. That meme page or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That it was this is just there's so we can react to it or whatever. And they want you to disrupt it. I'm like, whatever. Just it's stupid. I think it's perfectly fine if people want to go protest a very clearly stupid event. That's just
100%.
and I mean the thing that then is just so annoying with the types of people that I don't know that comedian and that anti-Semitism expert is that their whole shtick is the thing of I'm somehow on the political left in some regard. I guess less so the comedian. He's just a weird lib. But the Potter guy pretends that he's on the left or whatever. But all he does is ever just complain about the every article he writes is oh, the anti-Semitism problem in the left. Well, the data's right in front of you of where the problem is in Germany. When it comes to anti-Semitism.
To be honest, I thankfully don't really know who he is.
That's good, yeah.
So
I don't know. It's just it's very suspicious of a guy who only complains about anti-Semitism from this one group that then he says he's apparently supposed to be in. And then, quite, I don't know. Opportunistically, let's just say it, uses that
100%.
to front up a career in a country where that type of bullshit works pretty well.
100%.
Because you're just playing to the right. That's just a right wing talking point. And no one loves a person who's I'm a leftist who gets it better than right wingers, because they can always point to you and be oh, see, this person gets it. They are this kooky, weird, the left has this problem, this big anti-Semitism problem. We don't have it, even though there are active party members who glorify, the German Reich and whatnot, and the CDU and whatnot. But forget that. So I don't know. Very suspicious, all of it. How that just BS, just kind of still, exists in the realm that it does. Quite. I don't know, quite. I mean, especially in the sense with the backdrop of the Palestine Congress or Palestina Congress being continuously threatened by cancellation. That's or in Jüdische Stimme, the organization who then is organizing that event, having the problems that they've had with Sparkasse,
closing their bank account.
Closing their bank accounts and whatnot. That this type of organization, this type of event, then is actually having problems of being able to, happen. One that then I guarantee, unless a bunch of angry, freaky, weird Zionists are going to come and cause problems, can go without doesn't have to end up with this big, spectacle of they're letting this is a panel for anti-Semitism or for extremism or for this and whatever bullshit the German state wants to do. It's they could just have a realistic conversation about it instead. But then that has problems. And one that then literally is just going to troll everyone because they know how dumb it is. It's perfectly allowed to, knowing that then that they're going to be expecting a lot of protests, knowing that they're going to be expecting a lot of backlash from a lot of Jewish people, especially. They let that one fucking go on because, of course it goes perfectly in line with German Staatsräson. Yeah. It's so fucking aggravating.
It's really upsetting that this is what works in Germany, and what you were saying with Nick Potter, or even now the comedian, and other journalists as well. That's they're getting such a voice, and they're getting so many articles everywhere. And the fucking comedian was invited to the Bundestag. What are you on about? And it's
a guy
really,
who
really,
just like every other video of his. Now that I've had to like deep dive into him, I really was happy when I didn't know who he was. I'm glad that he was just like a faint, distant memory of like 8 years ago. Someone showed me a stupid Instagram video, and I was like, huh. That's
yeah.
you know, and then that was that, and then I found out he had a few more of those, and I was like, huh, those other ones are also kind of funny, and then I was like, okay, there's like too many of these now. Like it got worn out. It got worn out very
repetitive.
quick. Then I was reminded recently after we talked about Ozempic or whatever. That I then had to go down and find out that he's just a weird Zionist poster.
Yep.
But yeah, I love the fact that his only defense for why he like defends Jews is because he just wants to fuck so many Israeli dudes. Which is just like, bro, like, I mean,
it's so disgusting.
Does anyone need to spell it out for you, dog? Like, fetishizing people falls under a certain category, but whatever. Like, it's also just like, I don't know. At what point will you go and try to like they know what they're doing, you know?
Oh, 100%.
Like, like it's not even that it's like, oh, like, I don't know, that it's like even like disingenuous. I think it is then like they legitimately are just like invested in this politic, like genuinely at this point, you know? Like, I don't think that it's a grift anymore.
No, we talked about this with Kieran in last week's episode from when you're listening to this. And yeah, it seems like it started maybe as a grift or like as a, oh look, I can get views from this or whatever. Yeah. And now it's fully like they are ride or die with this, you know, they will never stop making, even if the views start going down or whatever, I don't think they will, especially a comedian, they will give it up, you know, because
I just remember seeing a video of his recently that ended in the weirdest way, where it was like, I'm on my way to some film festival or whatever, where I'm gonna meet a producer and I'm gonna get my own like TV series because I have a genius IQ or something.
What a weirdo. I'm not even sure he says that sarcastically.
No, it wasn't. It was the most absurd thing I've ever heard come out of anyone's mouth.
He's so weird.
Was like genuinely like coming out of someone's mouth. So good that they're making a name for themselves, banking on a genocide. That rocks.
Yep.
Anyway, so in other news, I guess this is technically no longer the European Union, but it is Europe.
No, but it's happening in Europe. And so today, on the day of the recording, which is April 5th, it's been 5 years since Assange has been in Belmarsh, obviously without a trial, high security prison. Apparently his health is like declining a lot.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Or that's what
Stella Assange says.
A lot of people have said it. I know that then when I spoke to Yanis Varoufakis, like the first time I met him, I remember that then someone asked about that, and that was years ago. That was like must have been 3 years ago or so. And he was giving like an update about, because he had just come from seeing
Belmarsh.
I guess that he had just like come. He was in contact with his lawyer or something like that or whatever. So he was giving an update on that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, he's doing like very bad, this and that and that." Like he wasn't doing well in the Ecuadorian embassy.
I mean, I bet. Jesus.
Like, but yeah, no, he's pretty much been like, I think he was in like was pretty much in like solitary confinement for a good portion of his time in Belmarsh. Like it was incredibly brutal, which is something that this prison has been notorious for. Yeah,
I mean it's a horrible place, high security. You don't even know what's going on there, kind of place. So yeah, today is the 5th anniversary of him being there. But what happened last week? Last week. So last year, 2022, Priti Patel, who was the Home Secretary at the time, she signed an extradition order for him to be sent and tried in the US. Obviously, that would be very, very bad because they're charging him with like treason, terrorism, like really, really bad things that will put him away forever if they don't give him straight up the death sentence, depending on where he's tried. Obviously, that started quite a few extradition appeals. He obviously doesn't want to be extradited.
Yeah.
So the third and last one was submitted, I believe, like about a year ago. And the judges were supposed to give their ruling last week. However, it's being, drawn out once more. Why? Because his lawyers, Assange's lawyers, gave 9 reasons or points, whatever, why he should not be extradited, including that, that they're prosecuting him as a political move, that they will kill him either by assassination and, he will mysteriously die in prison or get a death sentence. So they actually denied 6 of those points, the High Court. These 2 senior judges, I obviously forgot the names, but whatever. And they accepted 3 of them. So one of those is that the U.S. has to provide, or the lawyers of the U.S., whatever, have to provide proof by the 16th of April that they will not kill Assange if he is sent to the U.S. Obviously, that means jack shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they will just be like, yeah, trust me, bro.
Is definitely the U.S. is definitely the definition of bro, just trust me.
Right, exactly. Like that is just the stupidest thing. Everyone's saying it. Stella Assange is saying it. All the lawyers, like fucking, like Amnesty International, they're all like, dude, this means nothing. Whatever the U.S. tells you means absolutely nothing. He will appear, he will kill himself in his cell or something, and so
never happened in the United States ever.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. So that's the thing. Now they have until the 16th of April to like submit this proof, which will be horseshit, whatever it is, and then it's
just gonna be literally just a note that says, "Bro, trust me."
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how these judges will look at this and be like, seems good, seems legit.
Yeah, I gotta trust him. He did call me bro.
Exactly. And then in theory, they will give a ruling on the 20th of May or a later date, which means, what does that mean? If they accept his extradition appeal, I believe he can go to trial in the UK or something like that. So he won't be extradited.
Yeah.
And obviously if they deny it, he can be extradited
a
second after it's announced.
Yeah, because they also pointed to the fact, the extradition to the United States particularly. So allegedly it is against the Constitution of the UK to extradite someone to a country that has the possibility of the death penalty, that they have the death penalty.
Yeah.
So,
and it's also like the US is saying that the First Amendment, which is free speech, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't apply to him because he's Australian. So, they're saying that they will charge him with the worst things that they can charge him with without thinking about the free speech because it doesn't apply to him because he's Australian.
I mean, that's a confusing one because where's the crime being committed that they're saying? It doesn't matter if it's
in the internet.
Yeah. That's the First Amendment just applies to people who are in the United States. If you're putting him on trial in the United States, or you're putting him on trial for laws in the United States, then it would probably go by that of the laws of the United States, which are defined by the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah.
Legally then giving Julian Assange being tried as someone in the United States the same rights as anyone else being tried in the United States.
That's the thing.
Unless he's being tried under like military tribunal, which I don't think would be happening. Or if he's being tried not in the United States, like if they did like a secret trial in like a like CIA black site or something like that. Yeah.
No, so in theory, they would be like the trial and everything would be in the US. So they should be like US laws should apply to, or constitutional
that's exactly. That's like a big
should apply to him.
Yeah.
Because the crime was, quote unquote, was committed in the internet. You know, like he simply uploaded all the things that Chelsea Manning gave him onto WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
And also, like, if Chelsea Manning has been pardoned, why like it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, but like that's also like to that point as well too, that was like a big reason why the United States established like Guantanamo and shit like that. Yeah. Was because they one had the fear of, if they do bring any of these terrorists back to the United States from their operation that they know that they're going to be doing in, the Middle East, if once they reach American soil, then they become prisoners, like they become under the legal,
have rights.
Yeah, they become under the legal jurisdiction of someone in the United States, regardless of them being an American citizen or not. And the the Patriot Act did a lot to remove a lot of things of from personal freedoms and whatnot. But still, like, theoretically, there was like that legal problem that then just like, you can't, for example, you can't torture someone in an American prison.
Yeah.
That's technically illegal. So they had in that regard this entire framework for how to like deal with that of like, okay, well, we just have a gray area legally. And now Assange kind of provides a very interesting one because yes, like the crime of the internet is like another one where then the United States could possibly then figure out a way to also then create like a legal gray area for this bullshit to then put Assange on trial in a much different way, because the United States is very good at redefining, what it does and what it doesn't have jurisdiction over, or what it has special jurisdiction over. So aside from the fact that I think that the Assange thing is just like an insane, the fact of it being criminalized the way that it is, of course, has been an issue for for a decade now, at least. It would be incredibly frightening to see what happens and the thing that I'm afraid of is that I'm afraid that the UK is going to buy the US's bullshit, as long as like, especially too, that then like Biden's in power. Because I think if it was like under Trump, it'd be like a little bit different because there's like all this stupid apprehensive bullshit that Europe still has towards like, we can't give into Trump. But like the reality of it is that the situation would be horrible for Assange under either president.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And under Democrats, they're like way more like easy to give into like bullshit demands. It feels like. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really not like, I don't know. I hope it works, but it's also just like, it's incredibly like frightening to imagine what could then happen if he does end up in the US.
I mean, literally anything could happen. And he already survived an assassination attempt, apparently. So it's just, I am really, really curious to see what these two senior judges who should, know better, will say to the US's reassurances or whatever. And I really hope that they also publish those reassurances, because I would love to see what bullshit they try to sell as well. But it, as you said, it is really frightening because it's true. Like, Europeans think that Biden is not as bad, so that, if his government is giving us these reassurances, then it's okay because Biden is not so bad, and Biden is not Trump. But at the end of the day, the U.S. government is the U.S. government, and they're bad.
They're going to behave like ways. The U.S. government does, which is in the most brutal, frightening way that you can possibly imagine, especially for these types of crimes that the U.S. government sees as things like espionage and terrorism and shit like that. You know, a country that then literally, as I mentioned earlier, tried to create an entire legal framework where then the laws did not apply anymore. So this country is going to be really cool and fair about exposing the fact that the United States has been living extrajudicially, I don't fucking know the word, above the law.
You said it right the second time.
Extrajudicially. Yes, that's it.
There you go.
It's I guess we'll have to give an update then in at least the latest May 20th, you said?
Yes, May 20th.
Yeah, okay. That's a month away.
Yeah, it's still a while to go. They still have to send those bullshit reassurances. So yeah, we shall see. Hopefully they do say something on the 20th, and I don't know.
So now in more sad news.
Yeah, even worse.
You know, hitting you with that double whammy is that we have to talk about the world. How do we frame this right now? Because I think it's very clear that then from the nature of the attack, Israel like targeted the World Central Kitchen employee, like the volunteers or employees or whatever they were, very systematically, like very clear, like targeted airstrikes.
Yep.
You can very clearly see also from probably the air, the like marked vehicles. They mentioned also too that the vehicles were very clearly marked and that the Israeli government was aware of their movements and presence and whatnot. They were working in conjunction with help of the IDF. So to say that then it is an accident, I think we can just like call that bullshit. I think it is.
100%. Yeah.
So, but the interesting thing, I mean, the general, I think if you have not heard by now, because it's been I think everywhere, that 7 volunteers from the NGO World Central Kitchen were again, like I said, targeted by an Israeli airstrike. And everyone is kind of asking why, because it's not very clear, but it is very just clear that they were like singled out. They were hit one by one in their cars.
Yes, so there were 3 British from the UK, 1 Australian or New Zealander, 1 from Poland, and the driver who was Palestinian, and a dual citizen of the US and Canada.
Oh, okay.
That's the one that was missing.
Yeah. So, in all that, just sheer, carelessness. Not even carelessness because it's Israel knows what it's doing, but just the sheer I don't know, just disgusting actions of what Israel then now is doing to. I guess anyone that then is I still do not understand how, why, or whatever people or why these people were targeted. A lot of people are like speculating to say that it's to like distract from the absolute horrors and destruction from Al Shifa, which would not surprise me because Israel pulled out of that operation. And left behind some of the most like horrific stuff I've ever seen in my fucking life. Yeah. So, but weirdly enough, this war crime seems more feasible to, stomach than the other one.
What they're doing,
somehow. I don't know. Speculate all you want anyway. Europe is now upset and sad after all this because a few Europeans have been killed. And in all the tragedy, Corner Späti can still, provide some, interesting insight in all this because, nations are stupid and run by idiots who all have insane politics. 2 of these countries being, of course, Israel and Poland. Yep. And you would assume that then each one of these countries would react in a, adult manner of, hey, we just fucking killed one of your citizens in a targeted airstrike. Oopsie.
No. Well, that's basically what Netanyahu, like the video that he posted right after it came out, he's smirking. Like he's just straight up grinning. And he's like, it was a mistake. Oopsie. Well, we'll look into it. And then literally I saw that Netanyahu grinning was trending on Twitter because everyone was like, what the fuck? Even people that were...
Yeah, it's like when Vladimir Putin's
not
like,
really pro-Palestine were like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it's like the thing of like when Vladimir Putin's like, oh, we're going to like, I'm going to single-handedly take over the investigation of my political opponent who just killed himself.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how and why did he spring out of this, 14-story window? We'll never know. We'll never know how or why.
This investigation, quote unquote, that he promised, it's been over in a day, which, okay. And the findings came out today, April 5th. And it's literally just like, oopsies, it was a mistake. We couldn't see the fact that the cars were marked because it was dark. As if the most advanced fucking army in the world doesn't have night vision in their drones. But sure, whatever. And they said that they thought that there was a gunman in the car. So they thought there was a gunman in 3 cars at the same time, which is like they literally dropped like one bomb in one car. When they scrambled to another car, they bombed that one. And when they scrambled to the other car, they bombed that one.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see with your fucking high-tech drone that not one of those people had a weapon with them? Like,
no, it was dark. It was night.
It was dark. And obviously, the only repercussions, quote unquote, is that 2 senior officers, like a colonel and a major, have been sacked. What does that mean? Nothing, because they're probably going to get some nice pension or whatever anyway. And then, like, some of officers have been reprimanded, which also means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And still, like, not even, like, a proper formal apology.
Yeah, well, speaking of a country that wants an apology, like I mentioned, exactly. Of Poland and Israel going at it, I was aware of the country that we're going to be talking about later, Spain. But when you sent me this, I was flabbergasted because I was expecting something way different, and instead it was just like my 2 dads fighting. It seems like because Israel has been very mad at Poland for a legitimate reason. Like, let's be fair, they've had pretty bad relations with Poland since 2021 because they had claimed for the longest time, and they're not actually entirely incorrect about this, that Poland has been doing a lot of Holocaust revisionism, saying that Poland did not collaborate during the Nazi reign of during the Nazi occupation, and that Poland was completely in resistance, this and that, which is like obviously complete bullshit. And so Poland has had this entire they've had this like entire program from not just PIS, but just I think the general like now greater sense of just like Polish general like liberalism and whatnot, of really kind of whitewashing the reality of what that Poland's role in like the role of Polish collaboration in the Holocaust, and particularly also like they exaggerate a lot of the numbers. They're like, oh yeah, like they'll be like 90, like they'll be like 98% of like whatever. They'll like make up a statistic that then makes it seem like that all these people that were killed in it was like 98% of Polish Jews were killed in Poland, which is like true or whatever. But then it's like when you look at the population of all of Poland, it's like a really small percentage of the population. Yeah. And so Poland tries to do this thing where it's like we were targeted by the Nazis. No. Just like, trying to like replace that the Holocaust affected the Jews far more than it affected the Poles. Mm-hmm. And that they like skew all these statistics and whatnot. And they're very adamant about doing this, about trying to like really like remove the blame from themselves. But then they also are very selective that then when Jews are included in their statistics and then when they aren't. So they're also very like, okay. I mean, you can call it what it is if you want. I mean, like you can call it what you want if you want. If you say it's if you want to say it's anti-Semitic or not, sure, fine. That's up to you. You can be the judge on that. But
I mean, Israel, at the very least, it's just revisionism. It's just
it's just historical revisionism. It's historical revisionism at the very least. But yeah, so Israel just has claimed that whenever another country gets mad at them, they can just kind of like pull something out of their ass and be like, oh, you can't be mad at us because of this other thing.
Mm-hmm. So basically, the Israeli ambassador to Poland, after it came out that a Polish citizen had been killed in the world kitchen, a central kitchen like attack, he tweeted, and that's the thing also, like tweet, like how ridiculous can you be? But he tweeted that basically that it wasn't a big of a deal, and that, you know, Poland just wants Israel to apologize because Poland is anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
And anti-Semitism anti-Semitists will always be anti-Semitis, and, you know, they have nothing to apologize for, which is an insane statement. Even if it's true that anti-Semitism is normal in Poland, like a Polish citizen just got killed and you're like, I don't give a fuck.
You guys, you know, hey, you guys, he could have been an anti-Semite. You don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, well, frankly, yeah, you know, we're just, you know, we're just trying to make sure. I don't know. It's really ridiculous because like this has now then caused like Poland to respond and just be like, just, you know, quite threaten their relations with Israel.
Oh yeah. They're like, if you don't apologize, at least apologize. We'll just cut relations with Israel. Which, I mean, it's not like they need much of an excuse to do that anyway.
Yeah, it's like don't tell a country that with a you know case of, you know, genuine, you know, with the historical problem of anti-Semitism. You know, don't tease them with a good time.
Yeah.
You know, because they would cut, like, you know, Poland and Hungary would cut. No, Hungary would never now, because it's like they view Israel as like the first outpost of Christendom. But like, yeah, like these are countries that would break relations with Israel for like legitimately being anti-Semitic, like just for bad reasons.
Yeah,
like, you're saying that we're anti-Semitic. Yeah, we're not going to apologize. By the way, like, I'm mad at you and I'm going to, like, you know, strain relations with it.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I don't know. I really do always appreciate when Poland does do one of these weird things of like, like you're kind of weirdly being right, but in the stupidest, but I can't support it because it's in the dumbest, wrongest way possible. You know, it's like whenever Poland asks for, I feel that we've talked about this so many times before, when like Poland asks for reparations from Germany.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, like you should, but why are you asking for them? Like,
But what did you do?
It's like, you're really like, you're being a little bit ridiculous, but you know what? Also good for you that you're being a dick to Germany, because everyone should. Like, should it, like, I don't know, like Poland has a very interesting, weird relationship with Germany. It's like, I get it, I understand it, but then you like look into the like the parties and the people who are then asking this, like, oh, you are all insane. Like, you are all freaks. I love how on brand this is for my
they're just
my
pointing
two dads.
fingers at each other. But in general, like the reactions of as well the UK, for example, or Canada, whatever, they've been just so lukewarm as well.
Yeah,
just
like what were you gonna expect?
Yeah, that sucks. Israel, what the fuck? But like, keep doing you know? Like David Cameron and fucking Rishi Sunak were just like, yeah, this was horrible. We want an investigation, but like, obviously no calls for ceasefire, not condemning Israel in any way. I think actually Biden came out today and was like, did ask for a ceasefire, but like in a very much in a very Biden way, like, you can't keep doing what you're doing. Come on,
Come on, man.
Exactly.
Listen here, Jack. You can't just keep killing people.
Yeah, I actually don't know what Sanchez said. No, because no Spanish person was killed, but Jose Andres.
No, but the organization. So Spain did give a response because the organization is headed by some Spanish like celebrity chef or whatever that I don't know the name of.
Jose Andres.
Oh, see, thank you. Glad that you're from this, part of this region of the world. I'm not going to say which country, but
thanks.
But yeah, so they he gave a very clear statement where he said that then Israel assassinated like employees from the from his NGO that he started.
Yeah.
He was very clear in that.
Yeah.
And then Spain, kind of on the back of it, I think that like the foreign minister gave like kind of a pretty, whatever, just like a finger wag thing of a response. But the thing that then Spain's been doing is that, because they've been, quite, of the European countries, particularly like the larger ones, they've been probably having some of the better responses, like stopping weapon shipments to Israel. They did quite early, if I'm not mistaken.
See,
like,
that's
oh, it's all talk and
trick. So it's a tricky
fine.
topic because surface level, all the headlines, Spain looks great.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sanchez, like his investment speech, he did mention Palestine, and he said that he wanted Europe and the world to recognize Palestine as a state. Like they look great, but then, like as you put in the notes as well, they do say that they will recognize Palestinian statehood from July of this year.
Yeah, which is just like a very like weird, like, I don't know. It seems like it's just like a legal specificity rather than like anything more than that. Like it's like it's UN statehood.
Yeah.
Like so that then they would vote.
It's just like cool that. Palestinians.
Palestine has a
exists.
Cool. There's other countries that also recognize Palestinian statehood, and unless it's like, I don't know. Like, it could definitely like trigger something. I'm not going to say that it isn't, but it's like it is kind of like, you're right. Like it is. It just kind of feels like this thing. Like Pedro Sanchez is definitely like the poster boy of just like even when we were talking about the Eurovision thing, where he was like, "See, feminism can be fun," or whatever.
Exactly.
He just like he is just like he just kind of does and says what everyone's like.
He's just superficially leftist or like pro whatever is cool in that moment.
Yeah, pro
basically.
vibes. Yeah.
Pro vibes, exactly. But what you were saying about the weapon shipments, so they sent weapons to Israel as like back in December.
Oh wow, those big liars.
Yeah. So basically they say their excuse is that they had a contract or a what's it called? Like a license to send them weapons that was signed way before October 7th, and that it was like a 6-month thing or whatever. However, these licenses, if it's a weapons like license, they can be revoked at any moment, especially if the country is doing genocide with these weapons. Like if they wanted to, they could have broken that contract or license or whatever at any moment after October 7th. But no, they did 2 shipments after, in November and in December. And it was obviously pretty good money.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, of course, there was like, a bullshit, not real excuse to why magically, like, oh, the paperwork slipped through or whatever. Like,
yeah. Like, come on. I know it's a stereotype, but Spain is not that bad with paperwork.
Yeah, come on, this isn't Germany. Like a country that then is legitimately too over. Like if it was Germany, it'd be like, oh, well, we forgot to like fill in the proper like Anmeldungsformular to do the process the paperwork to not
stop genocide.
To stop genocide. Yeah. Did you put in your stop genocide Antrag in the proper Amt?
So. And I also don't know how I feel about Jose Andres, the NGO, the head of the NGO.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
Because he he immediately came out and was like, we were specifically targeted. The cars were marked. They had our coordinates. They knew that it was us, and they killed my people, which is great. But also, he hasn't really called for ceasefire. And then his hypocrisy, because now he speaks up when his people have been, targeted and murdered. However, right after the October 7th attack, Ione Belarra, who at that time was the Ministry of Social Affairs, she is a massive pro-Palestine voice, one of the first MPs in the world to side, quote unquote, with Palestine right after the attack. And she was very openly pro-Palestine. And she tweeted, that was when Israel was like, we're going to cut the water, electricity, and basically everything to Gaza right after the attack. So she tweeted that was a war crime, that you couldn't do that to a whole population of how many millions, And Jose Andres, answered basically calling her a terrorist sympathizer and saying that Israel has the right to defend itself.
Yeah, that was the thing, is that then the contract was done by the Israeli government with his NGO. I don't think that he's But that was, I think they only started really operating there recently. And that was right after the attack, October 9th or 10th. Ione Belarra was already citing. I don't know, but I'm just saying in the fact that then it's I don't know. I'm always fine in the sense of it then, he's going to be all pissy about it now, but I really I don't know. I feel always a hint of skepticism with anyone who just immediately after October 7th was not oh yeah, this is insane. Because Israel just went immediately into the most insane violence.
That's the thing,
imaginable. It's
exactly.
It's
not like they gradually.
It's not it got worse, but the amount of bombardment, it's been constant. Israel started attacking hospitals and shit like that at the beginning. Yeah. And the fact that it's so weird about it now is that then it's well, now we're not even questioning it anymore. Israel's just admitting that it's doing it.
Yeah, remember when everyone was oh my God.
How did Israel,
it couldn't be them. And all the proof was it was them. And they were still no, but they would never. And now, as you said earlier, they destroyed Al-Shaifa.
Yeah.
It was they murdered many.
And the question about that, and especially
and it's that happened.
Yeah, exactly. The same hospital when then however many months ago that was, that they hit it with an explosive so big that it killed all those people because the shock wave was so big. Yeah. Not because that the explosion was particularly large. Yeah, that same hospital. Yeah. So whatever. If he has had a change of heart, then whatever, fine. But kind of shitty that it comes in the sense of where it's this happened to me, now it's personal. It's
that's exactly how I feel. Yeah. It's always it is kind of bittersweet because it's always great when people with his actual influence and power speak up against Israel in this way and say and call out Israel's actions. But as many people are, that's the thing. He only speaks up when his people are murdered. But also, it's fucked up that, hundreds of Palestinians are dying every day, and now everyone's just focused on these 7 people, which obviously who didn't deserve to die, obviously, at all. But it's just so... It's so fucked up that that they are getting all the attention, but also not enough. It's still... their countries of origin are still not saying really anything, not, cutting ties with Israel or their diplomacy, not kicking out the the ambassadors and anything. It's just what? Ugh.
Yeah, it really is the exposure of just how dire all this shit is I don't know. It's always just the unfortunate reminder of, you think it's getting shitty. JK, it's somehow magically going to continue and get shittier. But I don't want to dwell on that. I want to dwell on happy things. And happy things include Eurovision, that thing that we are boycotting, but yet we are still apparently doing a show for. So,
but it's our own.
It's our own.
It's Gyrovision. It's not Eurovision.
It's Gyrovision, according to Kieran. Even though I will call it the proper name, which is would be still Eurovision. And so it is the 11th of May. Catch us in Neukölln. It'll be starting at 8 p.m. There's still, I believe, a few tickets left. Mm-hmm. And it is at Landstraße 25, if you need to know the exact address. But all the details will be below, and we will give you the link for tickets as well. They are 20 euros. All the money will be going to Medical Aid Palestine. And as well, the drinks will be going for Medical Aid Palestine as well. So,
and any Twitch, it will also be live on Twitch.
It will also
you
be live on
can watch
Twitch.
us from there. And all the Twitch donations will also go to Medical Aid Palestine, or you can just straight up donate to Medical Aid Palestine.
Yes. So we will have all the details available in the description below, and we hope that you can make it, because I will be planning quite the spectacle. Josie and I were talking about doing a whole duet of your favorite songs from Eurovision.
Hell yeah.
And taking you through the ages of Eurovision, just with the stars.
Such a journey.
Me and Josie Parkinson. And we'll be dressed in our finest gowns, and it'll be a sight to see. It'll be a beautiful show.
I'm actually so excited to see what Kieran, because
I am excited to see what
happens
Kieran's
with these
gonna
things
do.
is that just Kieran goes batshit crazy with whatever, with like slides. And then we don't see anything until the day of the live show. And then we're all just,
I ask Kieran to help all the time, and he says no.
No, he loves it.
Yeah, he loves it.
He loves the mystery and everything. He loves keeping us on our toes. So I'm very excited to do that. And if you come, you're actually going to be also the judges of our Eurovision. We're gonna literally do our own Eurovision.
Oh,
so
we're
all gonna like vote and stuff. And I don't know what else Kieran has prepared, but
I don't know if I suggested to Kieran or if I suggested to my mom, but because I was also very because I was very excited about the whole thing, and so I was telling someone about it. About then, I thought it would be fun if then, because the audience is about 40 people who can make it inside the thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
If that every person then gets a country, and then they then get the vote of that country.
They just walk on stage and they're like, 12 points for whatever.
Yeah, no, because it's not that many people.
Portugal gives 12 points to Spain.
Yeah, sure. They can do it however they want. I don't care. They can just be like,
that'd be fun.
We could just do like top 3 then or something, and then do a pool based on that. I think it would be cute. Because then every person can then pretend to be that, like, feel bad for the person who gets like Malta or something. But yeah, I don't know. If Kieran's listening to this, that's my suggestion, because that could very well be a possibility. But anyway, we will then catch you next week for later in the week for the bonus episode, and or next week for the main feed, or for the main episode.
Yeah, exactly.
So catch you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.